Well, hi, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you today with a mail haul. I recently received, or actually it was last week, about this time last week, I received 2 books in the mail from Steve Donahue, and wanted to say thank you to Steve for sending me, well, you guessed it, some Civil War books, and they came from the ever-famous Brattle Bookshop, so there's the bookmark from the Brattle. And so thank you to the Brattle, and thank you to Steve Donahue for sending me these 2 books. And Steve, I realized I usually send out a thank you email anytime I get anything, receive anything in the mail, and I realized I forgot to send you a thank you email. And the only reason I forgot is we've had family in town for the last week, and everything's been a bit chaotic around the house. And so I apologize for that, Steve. And hopefully later today, I will send you that email in case you're not watching this. But if you are watching it, thank you so much. So anyway, what were the 2 books that he sent me? So the 2 books that I got in the mail were No Better Place to Die, The Battle of Stones River by Peter Cozzens. That's the first book that he sent me. And there's your covers. And this book comes from the University of Illinois Press out of Urbana in Chicago. And it is a 1990 book. So let me share with you the inside cover. So, a mere handful of battlefields have come to epitomize the anguish and pain of America's Civil War. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Chancellorsville, Chickamauga. Yet another name belongs on that infamous list, Stones River, the setting for Peter Cozzens' No Better Place to Die. It was here that both the Union and the Confederate armies lost over 1/4 of their forces in battle casualties. The Confederacy's defeat at Stones River unleashed a wave of dissension that crippled the Army's high command and ultimately closed Tennessee to the South for 2 years. The loss deterred the British and French from coming to the aid of the South in the Civil War, and with tragic effects for the Southern cause. In the 126 years since the guns fell silent at Stones River, few books have examined the bloody clash and its impact on the war's subsequent outcome. No Better Place to Die recounts the events and strategies that brought the 2 armies to the banks of the Central Tennessee River on December 31st, 1862. Cozzens recreates the battle itself following the movement and performance of individual regiments. A series of maps clarifies the combat activity. Cozzens frequently lets the men who fought the battles speak for themselves through letters, diaries, memoirs, and battlefield communications. Here, we learned about such critical moments as General Philip Sheridan's gallant defense along the Wilkinson Pike, one of the war's most tenacious stands against overwhelming odds, and the bravery in battle exemplified by Breckinridge's attack on the Union left, a doomed assault with the poignancy of Pickett's charge. Over 20,000 Union and Confederate soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured in the bloody New Year's Battle of Stones River. The impact of their struggle extended far beyond the thousands of shattered human lives, ultimately imperiling the fortunes of the Confederacy. No Better Place to Die pays tribute to the heroes, the scoundrels, the mistakes, the bravery, and the grief at Stones River. Okay, and there's a picture of our author there. And so this is my first book on the Battle of Stones River. I have no other Civil War books on that, so thank you for that, Steve. That's an awesome addition. And the next one is also another first for me. I have no individual histories of this battle either, and this is Pea Ridge, Civil War Campaign in the West by William L. Shea and Earl J. Hess. And this is a more local one here. This battle was fought in Pea Ridge is in northern Arkansas, so I'm a former Missouri boy, so this one was one that was a little bit closer to home. And this comes from the University of North Carolina Press and printed at Chapel Hill, and it's a 1992 book. And so let me go ahead and share this one, the inside cover, with you. On March 6th through the 8th of 1862, one of the earliest pitched battles of the Civil War took place on a wintry field in northwestern Arkansas. The Battle of Pea Ridge, one of the largest engagements fought on the western frontier, dramatically altered the balance of power in the Trans-Mississippi. Through their victory, the Federals won control of this vast, sparsely settled frontier area and thereby helped ensure the Union triumph that was sealed at Appomattox some 3 years later. Pea Ridge is the first definitive study of a battle in the Trans-Mississippi, an area long overlooked by serious historians of the Civil War. It is based on exhaustive research in the archives from Connecticut to California and includes a pioneering study of the terrain of this sprawling battlefield. The narrative includes not only a dramatic account of the terrible fighting at Pea Ridge, but also the story of the grueling overland campaigns across the Ozark Plateau and the Mississippi Delta that preceded and followed the battle. More than an account of the movements of armies, this study also delves into the personal experiences of the soldiers, the use of Native American troops, and the role that Pea Ridge came to play in regional folklore. All right, so I'm looking forward to reading this. I used to teach with a language arts teacher at school, and we would do our Civil War unit was a cross-curricular unit, so we would do it in language arts and in my social studies class. And she had been to Pea Ridge, and she had brought, several things that she had gotten from the battlefield, the historic site, and she would share those with her class and everything. And I always was a little bit jealous, and because I had never been there, so I didn't have that firsthand experience. And I would do the same thing with Gettysburg, and I'd bring my stuff. But anyway, this will give me a little bit more insight into the battle and maybe help me pull my weight a little bit when it comes to Pea Ridge. So anyway, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Those are, like I said, two firsts for me. I have no individual books on those battles. And then the other one was the other part of this mail haul. The other two books are part of my Father's Day gift. I was gifted some money for Amazon, and I went and spent some of it anyway. And upstairs in the upper room, I have had Dumas Malone's 6-volume series on Thomas Jefferson. I've had 4 of the 6 books for several years now. And I have looked and looked for the 2 that I'm missing, and I could not find them. I had at the Jesse James Antique Mall the temptation of buying the entire 6-volume set for $40, which is actually not a bad price. The tightwad in me was kind of putting off buying that. I didn't want to spend that much money all at once on a group of books. But I got to looking on Amazon, and they'll sell from anywhere from $60 clear up to a couple $100. And I was like, that $40 is not that bad. But then I got to thinking, I have some of these upstairs. I went and looked, and I was like, I got 4 of the 6 already. Why do I want to buy the entire set? So anyway, needless to say, I went and bought the 2 that I was missing. I was missing volumes 1 and volume 3 in the Thomas Jefferson biography series by Dumas Malone. So this is volume 1, Jefferson the Virginian. And these come from Little Brown. And this cover was in a little bit rough shape. I kind of took some tape and tried to fix some places. The front cover, I did not do a very good job. You'll notice that there's a little bit of a wave right there where I taped it right here. Did not do a very good job on that. It, instead of being like it's supposed to, it kind of bubbled. And but it's going to be okay for my purposes, but it's bugging me. But this first volume, the cover was in a little bit of rough shape. And like I said, this comes from Little Brown and Company out of Boston. And this is a 1948 book. So I guess maybe it's not in too bad a shape for the age. And like I said, the second book that I got was Jefferson and the Ordeal of Liberty. And this cover is in way better shape. Matter of fact, this book, if you look at the binding and everything, this book is like in brand new condition. I mean, considering the age, it's very, very new condition. And let's see, this is a 1962 book. So again, Little Brown and Company from Boston, and it's a 1962 book. And what Dumas Malone, and I've never read the series, but what he did was he took different stages of Jefferson's life and did a book on each of those stages. He broke it into 6 stages. And of course, Jefferson, the Virginians, the early stages, and Ordeal of Liberty. I believe that's during the, let's see here, the 3rd volume in this distinguished study deals with one of the most fascinating and controversial periods of Jefferson's life, as it tells the story of the final and most crucial phase of his Secretaryship of State, his retirement to Monticello, and his assumption of the leadership of the opposition party. So this is when he's getting into forming that other political party. And I'm just excited to read this. The next volume in the series is his first 4 years as president, and then the next one's the second term, and then the last volume is his retirement and what he did after retirement. And so I'm just excited to pick this up, but I am somebody who absolutely hates to read things out of order. And so I've been waiting on this first volume so I could get it started. And here we are. I got the first volume. So let's do since Steve gave me some of these books, half these books, let's do a Steve pyramid. So we got Jefferson the Virginian, Volume 1 of the Malone biographies. We got Jefferson and the Ordeal of Liberty, Volume 3 of the series. We got the Battle of Pea Ridge, and then we've got No Better Place to Die, the Battle of Stones River. So there you go, BookTube. There is my mail haul for this last week. And again, thank you to Steve. Those came in the mail at the end of last week, about this time 1 week ago, and I just forgot to send the email. Sorry about that. But anyway, BookTube, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you've read any of these. What do you think about these individual books? Do you have any thoughts or comments for me? Put them down below in the description. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, and happy reading.